I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.
Welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the D&B podcast. We are your hosts, Camilio Salamander and KB the Mark.
Cause I'm a fucking mark for this shit.
Now, today we got something special for y'all. We got an exclusive news video. Yes, an exclusive news video brought to you by Camilio Salamander and KB the Mark. We got two voices this time. So, I'm going to take a note out of your book before we start. How are you feeling today, KB?
Man, Camilio Salamander, I'm not going to hold you. It's been a crazy 3 days. It's been a crazy 3 days. Preferably, it's been a crazy 48 hours. In the world of wrestling, there was the report of Stone Cold coming back. And that was dominating Monday. But then Tuesday, the floodgates opened. And one man completely took it over.
One man. All right, so today we got some stories for y'all. We got a former WWE star headed to AEW. Like KB said, we got Stone Cold possibly returning in the ring. We have NXT 2.0 ratings. We have Nikki Bella addressing a possible full-time return. Chris Jericho AEW contract status. Another surprise planned for WrestleMania, and of course, the man of the hour, Cody Rhodes. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. A former WWE star headed to AEW. But now, the former WWE star that we all knew him of, Buddy Murphy, is now going by the name Buddy Matthews. And he was flying under the radar ever since he became a free agent last September. And might I add, he been under the radar, but he sure been in that gym. He looked marvelous. He built like he got his muscle up for real. But it looks like that he went ahead and signed to AEW. We should see him in the near future in AEW. I'm pretty sure, but all the storylines AEW have right now, they really ain't gonna find a room to fit him in right now. So they already announced his signing. I would keep him on the back end for right now. I'll possibly debut after Revolution, or near it if you ain't got dominant storylines around that time. Then possibly debut him on the pay-per-view. But what do you think about this game?
Man, Camilio Salamander, man.
Awesome signing.
Like I said, I love it. You know me, I've been saying I wanted Buddy Matthews in AEW since he became a free agent and was able out of his 90-day non-compete. I've been saying it. I'm just sitting here and I'm just cheesing. I'm just smiling so much, Salamander, because think of what we can get. Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy rocked.
We've seen that though.
We have seen it, but guess what? It was so good they decided to run it into the ground. It's been like 3 years since we've seen that. And in AEW where the restrictions are less.
I got one better for you. I got a couple better. Buddy Matthews, Kenny Omega.
You took that was the second match I was gonna say.
Buddy Matthews, Orange Cassidy.
Oh.
Buddy Matthews, Darby Allin.
Buddy Matthews, Keith Lee.
That's something we ain't seen. I don't think so.
Buddy Matthews,
Chris Jericho.
Yes. Buddy Matthews, Pac.
Buddy Matthews, and Eddie Kingston.
Buddy Matthews, CM Punk.
Yes.
Buddy Matthews, Bryan Danielson.
Buddy Matthews, MJF. Mind blown.
Or he could be the hitman for MJF and take out Wardlow.
What if he's a new Warlord? Yeah, we'll be expecting the Warlord turn. In reality, that's what they had planned.
And MJF turns on Wardlow. Yo.
But he had Buddy Murphy do the it's like the Randy Orton thing, how Batista did all this stuff, then Triple H just came up to him and smacked him and like, world champion is mine. Like that. Like some shit like that. Like Buddy Matthews do all the work. And then he just come in his face like, you thought you was gonna, I seen it. I knew it was gonna happen. I knew you was gonna try to turn it back on me. But I always had one foot ahead.
And that would make
that way when CM Punk finally take the belt off him, when he do that, activate that shit and make it more better. Because at this point, MJF would just be a girl.
And you know, that would feed into MJF's character so well too, because when he was trying to destroy when we thought he was trying to destroy the Inner Circle from the inside out, he actually was getting his own group together, the Pinnacle. So what if he just had? It would then add another layer to the Wardlow face turn. Really get him over as that sympathetic baby face who was tossed aside by MJF, and he's just going to get his revenge. And you probably wouldn't have to run a Wardlow and Buddy Matthews match until All Out.
Right.
And that's in September.
All right, and up next now we got Stone Cold Steve Austin's WWE return. Now, it's reporting that his WWE return could go beyond WrestleMania. With Stone Cold possibly making an in-ring return at Mania, reportedly against Kevin Owens. Do you think it's smart for them to go ahead and have him continue to wrestle beyond that? Or do you think it should just be a one-off? Because he haven't been in the ring since the early 2000s. But I guess because of how the medicine and everything is now, some wrestlers that career was really ended is actually making a comeback now due to a second look from the doctors and everything. Do you think this was possible for Stone Cold? I mean, evidently because he's making an in-ring return after his neck injury and everything. But do you think this is a smart move? Like, because I don't think Stone Cold actually need to even make a return. Like, what he did already is legendary. He don't have to, step in the ring again to prove it. So he ain't got nothing to prove, basically.
Well, Salamander, it's just like we discussed on the week review. It's about money. And you need to sell out AT&T Stadium for 2 nights. With Stone Cold, you're guaranteed one.
I would put night 2 because so far the last 2 WrestleManias, night 2 didn't perform well to me.
Right. I was thinking night 1, but night 2 definitely sounds better. I agree with you.
Because night 1 is WrestleMania's date, is the premier WrestleMania, so night 1 will always sell just because of that. But you see how last year night 1 was so lit, and then when we got to night 2, it was like, the only thing exciting was the Roman match. Well,
Seth and Cesaro.
But we seen what that was. Cesaro's tag man. Seth is the only one that capitalized off that.
Right.
But yeah, at the moment, yeah. But it was like out of everything on night 2. See, I forgot about that match. I just remember Roman.
Well, that also had that. It also had that great Riddle Sheamus match too.
I don't remember that. Like if I think about night 1, I got Bobby Lashley tapping out Drew McIntyre. I got Bianca Belair coming off at the top. I can remember events from night 1, but I can go from night 2. It didn't really do the justice for me because I just really remember the main event.
Okay, I see what you mean. To answer your question, I'm okay for a one-off. I don't want to see him anything past that in the ring unless you're going to do maybe a tag team match to where he's not really utilized. My question is, How do you even do this Kevin Owens match? And honestly, if you're going to put Steve Austin in the ring against anybody, I would prefer it be somebody as safe as Kevin Owens.
It's very simple. Only thing they would do will be right after Elimination Chamber, because then the next pay-per-view is in March. I don't know what that pay-per-view will be. So probably leading up to that pay-per-view, because he gonna make an appearance probably around that time, either leading up to that pay-per-view, but he's not gonna wrestle, or after that pay-per-view when it's the countdown to Mania. So and the fact that Elimination Chamber is this Saturday, I guarantee that the March pay-per-view is gonna be the first week of March. The Mania is the first week of April. So that's how they're gonna do it. But it's gonna be something simple, like, he gonna call him out for using his move and saying he ain't using it right, just like he's been saying that you gotta put some stake into it. You said that before about Kevin Owens stunner. So I think it's more gonna be just the same shit of that. Just he come out, call him out about using his move, shit like that, and then that's what's gonna start the feud. Kevin Owens saying, he gonna bring up his neck. We all know that. Saying he washed up or something. Simple, boom. But I personally don't want to see it, because if you're gonna get Stone Cold back in the ring, you should get the first match that he was promised, which was CM Punk and Stone Cold. That's the whole reason why he was coming out with the Stone Cold shirt during that time and all that. But it never happened, so I don't want to see that shit though. I don't think he need to come back.
Like I said, I'm with you.
I can host WrestleMania like The Rock did.
Like I said, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna leave it there so we can move on. I don't want to see the match either, but if they are gonna do the match, I don't want to see Steve Austin win with a stunner. I honestly want to see him beat Kevin Owens with his move. I want to see him beat Kevin Owens with a pop-up powerbomb. It ain't gotta look pretty, because KO's gonna do all the work, but I just need to see Steve Austin win with a pop-up powerbomb.
If they do that, they will extend the feud. But they did say it's possible that they are trying to get him to work beyond WrestleMania. So it could be that too. I can actually see them ending the match like that to extend the feud a little bit longer. But moving on to the next story, we got NXT 2.0 ratings increase for Vengeance Day special on Sci-Fi. Now the ratings for the latest NXT WE 2.0 are in, and I said that wrong, I meant WE NXT 2.0. The show drew 525,000 live viewers on Sci-Fi, which is up for the 400,000 viewers for the previous week. They did a 0.11 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic, and last week the show did a 0.07. Do you think at least Sci-Fi was the best move for NXT 2.0? You think they should move NXT 2? Because it's probably did good just because of this little basically on TV pay-per-view or special, whatever they did. That's part of the reason why they did good. But it seemed like they've been pulling in good ratings for these last 2 weeks on Sci-Fi than they did on USA. Now, I don't know, Raw, they ratings went up from last week too, being on Sci-Fi, but do you think they should keep Raw on USA and possibly make a move for NXT to be on Sci-Fi?
No, I like it on the same thing as Raw because they talk about each other all the time. Like, you don't really hear SmackDown talking about NXT, but you hear Raw and NXT, so it's kind of like they're together.
They can still do the same thing because Sci-Fi and USA is all on the NBC.
Yeah, and I get that, but it's just better on USA. And for real, like you said, the only reason that it did as good as it did is because it was a TV special. With that being said, it was an excellent TV special that gave us the Creed Brothers versus MSK in the Dusty Cup Finals. That was fantastic. The weaponized steel cage match with Tony D'Angelo and Pete Dunne. That was great. Carmelo Hayes versus Cameron Grimes. That was great. And it gave us an excellent main event with Braun Breaker and Santos Escobar, which actually they got me on a near fall because I was thinking, Dolph Ziggler came in, hit a nice little super kick. So I'm thinking, oh wow, they're really about to put this on Escobar and really like start to get Braun Breaker ready for the main roster. But he won, so it looks like we're getting a Tommaso Ciampa Dolph Ziggler feud, which it was good. It was I see why.
See Tommaso Ciampa eventually on the main roster?
No.
Or do you think he just stay where he at?
He needs to just stay in NXT because you saw the reaction on Monday. Nobody cared. They were more interested in Dolph Ziggler.
All right, so moving on to our next story, we got Nikki Bella addresses a possible full-time WWE return. Now, Nikki Bella, she has been stating that she would love to capture the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. She did an interview with TV Insider, and basically she said the same thing, that she would love to go after the tag team belts. Do you think that would be a smart move for her for the Bella twins to come back for another return, but go after the tag team titles, or do you think they're better off without them? Because at the Royal Rumble, we got Brie Bella basically turning on Nikki, about to eliminate her, but we all know that was her get back from the very first inaugural Women's Royal Rumble. Was Brie did the same thing to her. So is this something that you would like to see, or do you think it's just better off without them, or do you think this is something that the women's tag team division needs, because they are an actual tag team, and we don't have those on Raw. We just have people. They're just pairing up people.
As much as I dislike
Raw and SmackDown, we don't have them.
As much as I dislike the Bellas, their star power needs to be accompanied with a great division. And the women's tag division is non-existent. There's one tag team, and they are the women's tag team champions. Haven't had challengers since Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley. So I don't want to see them unless WWE has plans to really get this women's tag division up and running. If not, it's just going to be a waste. And I would much rather see both of them in the women's championship picture.
All right. Next, we got the latest on Chris Jericho AEW contract status. Now, Chris Jericho, he took the risk of joining AEW after a long-term successful career in WWE that ended in 2019. His star power brought the promotion something that it needed, and it locked down the TV deal at the time. Chris Jericho, he had actually did a 2-year extension, and AEW actually picked it up in 2020, and he is currently under contract with AEW until at least early 2024. So he's locked in for at least 2 more years. Me personally, I think after his contract is over with AEW, he will really make that jump back to WWE and then end his career there. I think that is the smartest thing to do. Because right now it kind of seems like he's wrapping up all his storylines, what he has going on right now, and at AEW. But the moment he retired, he should get a double to that year, that following year, or that year, depending on when he retired. But whenever that nearest WrestleMania is, he should be inducted to the Hall of Fame. He's a glorified walking Hall of Fame up there. What do you think about his AEW contract? Would you like to? Well, I know you're the biggest AEW mark here at the table, so would you like to see him end his career at AEW, or would you wouldn't mind seeing him move to WWE and making that move there?
As much as I love Le Champion, he will forever be known as Y2J.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where his roots lie. And he needs to end his career no other place than WWE. Now, if he wants to come back after that and do one-offs for AEW, I'm more than welcome to that. If you want to throw him in here for a quick little project, a quick little storyline, I'm okay with that. But he needs to retire in WWE. That's his home. That's where he made most of his living. I love that he came over here to All Elite, got it off the ground. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. Now he needs to go back to where he made his money and where the WWE fans can get one more run of Y2J, Chris Jericho, and we can finally get the payoff to the fantastic Festival of Friendship from so long ago.
They end his career after that?
Yep.
I respect it. All right, now we got the talk of the hour. The talk of the hour. Now we got Cody Rhodes. He reportedly asked for more money due to CM Punk and Bryan Danielson contracts, which is why he decided to leave AEW. Now there's other reports about that, and KB, I'll go ahead and let you take it over from here.
Yes, thank you. The man of the hour, the man who's been dominating the wrestling world since Tuesday at 10 a.m. Man, oh man, a lot has been going on with Cody Rhodes. While I get everything that I need pulled up, Camellia Salamander, give me just a little bit of insight on how you were feeling when you first heard the news and what immediately was going through your mind.
Okay, so with this, I really believe this is a work because as of right now that I know, he is still an active EVP. So reports of him going to WWE, I do not believe. I think WWE is attempting to make a signing with him, but I don't think that he is going to sign. I really think it's a work on AEW. And I think Tony Khan is playing in on it, but him leaving, I don't think so. I sent you a picture earlier this week of Cody Rhodes thinking he gonna make the jump to WWE and gain the WWE title, the Universal title, but in reality, WWE just gonna put the 24/7 title on him. That's what I think is gonna happen. I just think he's gonna think that he's gonna jump over there and be a mega star, but it's not gonna work out in his favor. All they gonna do, they might push him for the first year, but eventually he signed a 4-year deal or a 2-year deal with WWE. That first year he might get booked and get booked good. But that second year, I guarantee he gonna be like on some Stardust shit. May not be Stardust, but he gonna be on some goofy ass shit. And he's better off sucking up his ego and fucking re-sign that contract at AEW. That's where you at. That's where you need to be. You could be the motherfucking Triple H of AEW. Don't go to WWE. Ain't no need. There's no need for you to go there. If you sign to AEW, I don't think AEW will hurt because, in my opinion, ever since Tony Khan took away the EVP booking rights, AEW got way better. Just look at the recent people they signed and just the recent storylines and everything. That's really it. There's really no point for him to make that jump over there. I don't see why it's necessary. I would say WWE would benefit ratings wise, but in the long term, the AEW will actually win the war. WWE will win the battle at the moment because they got Cody Rhodes, but AEW in the long term will win the war.
So I'm just going to read a little bit from what Cody Rhodes said, then I'm going to look up Tony Khan's statement. But after I read this, I'm going to ask you just what you think about it while I get Tony Khan's statement. But this is what Cody Rhodes had to say. I have loved my time at AEW. Amazing locker room, amazing fans, amazing people. The revolution was indeed televised, and I've been incredibly lucky to be a part of that. First, I want to thank Tony Khan. He's taken the baton and run with it, and it was an honor to work for him and to know him on a personal level. He's a beautiful soul. Obviously, need to thank my incredible wife and the mother of my baby girl, Brandy, for all of her love and support throughout this journey together and amazing relationship she fostered with Culture City. With Culture City and the American Heart Association. I also need to thank Nick and Matt Jackson. These two, whether they know it or not, took an undesired and not confident little cub and gifted me the confidence to become a leader of the pack. Kenneth Omega, Chris Jericho, Chicken, we started the fire. He went on to name everybody else. He also gave your girl Jade Cargill the elevator which she come out on, which I think she's going to look good being elevated from underneath. She's going to look really good. But that's what Cody Rhodes had to say. Salamander, I want to just point out one thing, and it goes off what you said when you were talking about his ego. Then I'll ask you. We know that Tony Khan took the booking powers away from the EVPs. So for him to say Tony Khan's taking the baton and run with it, it kind of sounds like a jab. What do you think about that and just a little bit that I read from Cody's statement?
I really just think Cody Rhodes is just hurt. His ego is hurt. That's all I really think about it. I really do think that this is a work on and Tony Khan just playing in on it. He may have secretly signed a deal if they just capitalizing on the publicity that they get, especially because as of recording this, it's Wednesday, so this will go up Thursday. So especially tomorrow, when we get the ratings for AEW, if they benefit from it, then this is most definitely a work. Cody Rhodes, I just really think he just his ego is hurt. He's salty that the booking rights was taken away from him. He's trying to call Tony Khan out on it. I just look at this as the same situation with Triple H. You know, how Vince McMahon just took NXT from him and shit. Man. But on the other hand, Cody Rhodes is going public with it. You can just tell he's hurt. He's hurt. His ego is hurt. He don't know what to do.
No, and I definitely agree. And basically with Tony Khan's statement, I find it funny how he signed it, because there was an article going around in Forbes where he listed all of his job duties at AEW, and I guess that rubbed Cody Rhodes the wrong way. But you can't get mad at somebody for telling the truth, and I get it. You wanted to be, you wanted booking powers and all of that stuff, and you felt like you were up there with the Danielsons and the CM Punks. But my bigger question is, why leave? Why go back to a company that has failed you creatively? When I look back over it, you're wanting, or Cody's wanting to go to WWE, but me and you have already discussed it off camera, or not off camera, off, just talking before we started recording. And he's just going to be a trophy to Vince. You're just a notch in Vince's belt. Hey, look what I got. Like you said, I got one of the co-founders. That's all he is. And who's to say he might get that push? But who's to say it's not just a 6-month push? And then when we're done with you, you're going right back to Stardust. Or better yet, does he think he's going to be up there with a Roman, with a Brock, with a Drew, with a Seth? Like, does Cody really think that's where Vince is going to put him?
I don't think so. When I see Cody Rhodes, I just see the AEW version of Triple H. That's just really what I see, especially because, and it don't help that he made plenty of references to Triple H, like how he came out with the throne and then smashed that shit. I mean, Randy Rose is by his side. He's the VP, so she got some type of title, or she just got that appearance of her. She's important and shit too. So that's like, Triple H's stuff. That's all I see. I just see him as the AEW version of Triple H and everything. And then just with him, I just think, he left WWE. He did his thing on the Indies. He really made a good name for himself overseas in New Japan. AJ Styles left New Japan and left the Bullet Club, and Kenny Omega was the leader. He felt like he brought more stardom to that group when he joined. But then they made their own subsidiary group. Then they went ahead and moved over and moved to the States. The States, and they went ahead and sold out the show All Out. And that just brought more, like ego. It just made his ego, boost his ego up more. He's like, yeah, I can do this shit. And I ain't gonna lie, I do think he was the brains behind that. Like, was able to get all that stuff done. I do think he was the one was able to get, partner him up with Tony Khan to get that big sponsorship that they needed. But Tony Khan got the money, so he the one that did everything else. I mean, yes, you connected the dots with Tony Khan across the T's, dotted the I's and shit. So, I mean, I don't think. How am I gonna put this? I don't think that. I just really think that he just feel like he deserved more credit. Like, if you gonna cut anybody's stuff off, then you shouldn't take nothing away from me. That's how I feel like he's fighting Philly. Like, you're gonna get their stuff, because I don't even make my stuff. Speaking to like from Cody, like you took the booking rights away from for us. But I don't even book myself strong. I told myself I'm not gonna be in the main event picture. I told myself I would never challenge for the AEW belt. I was the first person to become this champion, the TNT champion, but I elevated it and then dropped it to a good young talent. And we see how that belt going. They don't even need. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm making sure everything's good. I'm not using my power to get myself over or whatever like that. So if you gonna take anybody's stuff away, it's literally them. Don't touch me. That's how I feel in this situation is, and I just think that's just really what it is. At the end of the day, his feelings is hurt. He's not gonna sign with WWE. Him and Tony Khan gonna make it up. He gonna be with AEW.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got a couple things to say, so this might be a minute. Piggyback on off what you said. If I'm Tony Khan and seeing how this just erupted, I gotta get him back. The fan base is telling you, the WWE marks are telling you that he is as important as he thinks. But at the same time, Cody Rhodes also has to understand that Tony Khan's on a budget, and you knew this. You knew the job of AEW wasn't for you guys to be over. It was to build the alternative. Look at who you were able to bring in. CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Buddy Matthews, Andrade, Keith Lee, John. You're bringing in big names. So yes, there might be a time to where you have to practice patience. And I know Tony Khan will give that man any money that he asks for. He's a co-founder. He's a very integral part of this. But Cody would need to understand, I get it, Tony. You're working on a budget. I'll take this. And I guarantee you, Tony, when they get the new TV deal and they get more money, Tony Khan will be like, Cody, I appreciate you so much. Because you could have left, but you did. So now I'm going to give it up to you on the back end. And the next time they get that TV deal, now he can be making the monies of the Punks and the Danielsons, because Danielson has already stated that after this run he's going to be a part-timer, so that frees up money. All you had to do was be patient. But you left AEW because you didn't have booking rights. You didn't have the creative freedom that you wanted to go to WWE, where you'll have no creative freedom at all. And you're going to be forced to do what they want you to do. Just look at Mustafa Ali. Bro, been trying to leave for what, 2-3 months now? And they just got him sitting at home. And my thing is this. I love Cody. I'm going to support Cody in WWE because I supported Cody in every aspect of his career. When he was Dashing Cody, when he was Legacy Cody, when he was Stardust, to now the American Nightmare. But this is what I will say. I better not hear a peep, a word, a tweet of complaint when he's back doing Stardust. I better not hear a fucking word, because you chose to let your ego get in the way. Just because you couldn't get what you wanted, now you decide, let me just go over here to the Fed. Let me go over here to WWE. For what? A 6-month push? Back down to the mid card? Stardust? Running along with Reggie and Tamina and R-Truth and Akira Tozawa for the 24/7 championship? You left AEW being one of the most interesting characters on TV. And here's the thing. He gave up a lighter work schedule too. Now you're going to be doing house shows. Now you're going to be traveling. Now you won't, and I'm pretty sure he'll have Brandy with him, but you won't be able to spend as much time with your baby girl and with Brandy, because you'll be working house shows every night instead of working one day a week. And you might not even work that day. You might not even work that day. You might just be there just because you're an EVP. You left all of that to go to WWE, where of course they're going to throw money at you. Big deal. I think they said KO's making $3 a year. I think they said Brock's making 6. I can definitely see them throwing 4.5, 5 mil at Cody, 5 years. We want to lock you down for 5 because that'll probably take him to his late 30s. So if you want to go back to AEW, they're pretty much like you said, they're playing the long game. They're banking on AEW not being there. So guess what, Cody? There will be nowhere else for you to go if AEW doesn't make it. And guess what? That's probably when Vince McMahon will release you. If he sees AEW folding and they take the WCW route, this is the last show, but Vince don't buy him out because he probably wouldn't. There won't be no point. Just let him just go into obscurity. Guess what, Cody? AEW just ran their last show, and we ain't got no more need for you. You're fired. Future endeavor. Thank you. Maybe in 90 days you can take your talents to New Japan. Because I'm not going to hold you. If I'm Impact, I don't want him. If I'm NWA, I don't want him. And the thing is, we're not even mad that you're leaving AEW because we respect it. It's okay. It's where Cody's going is the problem. He could go to a New Japan, we wouldn't even care. Hey, go make that money, bro. He could go to Impact, wouldn't even care. He can go to NWA, wouldn't even care.
It's the fact that all this shit you said about WWE, you're gonna go right back to him. But like they already said, they always come back.
Always.
They always come back. But with the money aspect of this, if not CM Punk, but Cody Rhodes is making a certain amount and all these other people is making more than him, I could see how that could be a problem because, like you said, he's a co-founder, he's an EVP, and you sign fucking CM Punk. That took away some money. You got Bryan Danielson. That took away some money. And plus, thinking about like when they signed John Moxley, that's different because they really take away from their characters are not the same. But CM Punk and Bryan Danielson, they take away that stardom and that spotlight from Cody. On top of that, you sign Chris Jericho. Then you sign Malachi Black, Miro, Christian, and all these other big WWE people that's bigger than you in a way. So it will take more spotlight off of you. So I could see in that aspect of it, but it's just like, you try. I don't think he should leave. It's like, you did all this for what?
I mean, my bigger thing is you're going back to WWE. Mind you, Salamander, these are the same WWE fans that when you were in AEW having fantastic matches against Dustin, fantastic matches against Sammy Guevara, fantastic matches against MJF, fantastic matches against Chris Jericho. These are the same people that were saying you're average, you're trash, your gimmick is awful, nobody likes you, go home, retire. Yet you go back to this fan base, and what I find funny is the same people that was talking shit when he was in AEW, they're loving the fact that he's on his way to WWE. Oh, he's going to be a game changer for us. This is the first chink in the armor of AEW. AEW is going to fall because we got Cody Rhodes. But as we saw with the Buddy Murphy signing, the Buddy Matthews signing, Tony Khan's not stupid. Why would I pay? And like I said, I get it, but his ego's hurt. But he's got to know Tony Khan to give it back to him on the back end. Because Tony Khan doesn't seem like a Vince. He seems like he understands you make sacrifices for him, he's going to give it back to you in return. That's what Tony Khan seems like to me. But because of his bruised ego, why would I give you that 3 mil, that 4 mil, when I can bring in 2 to 3 people who can make that? Now I got 3 for the price of 1. So who's to say he doesn't reach out to Athena, formerly known as Ember Moon? Who's to say he doesn't have a Gargano in the back pocket? Who's to say he ain't got Killer Cross in the back pocket? Because Cody wanted to leave. That right there, like I said, I love Cody. I absolutely love Cody. Like I was saying, Solomon, man, I love Cody. I love Cody to death. But you could have went anywhere else, and you decided to go back to this fan base. Now, there is a part of me that agrees with you. Like, I feel like it's a work. because a lot of the information was coming from WWE, but there were reports that he had been in discussions, or his camp had been in discussions with WWE since late last year. So maybe it is a work, but this is kind of a stupid and long ass work to just get the WWE fans hyped to just screw him in the end. Like, that's why I don't think it's a work. Like you said, I think his ego was bruised, and he wanted the booking powers. But like you said, Tony Khan took it over, and AEW has hit new leaps. They've hit new ground, and they look like they are on a roll. My question to you before we wrap this up: do you think AEW is going to be okay? Is this, how big of a loss is this, or how big of a gut punch is this to WWE and any people who are considering making the jump from WWE to AEW?
I don't think AEW will take a loss from this. I really think, like I had said earlier, I think, you know, WWE, they will win the battle, but the long-term game, AEW will actually win the war. And mainly because I don't think, you know, it's just Cody Rhodes. I mean, AEW doing great right now, and he ain't been on TV in about almost a month. So, I mean, it'll just be what we've been getting. They will, like WWE, they will capitalize the first couple of weeks because of Cody being there, and people want to see what they're doing with him and stuff. So, but I mean, AEW, they still giving us awesome content with or without him being on TV. AEW will win in a long-term game because WWE will really see, like, damn, this ain't even affecting shit. AEW still up and thriving. As long as they got Jade Cargill, they cool.
Gotta throw that Jade in there. Yeah, so my overall view of everything that's happened from Tuesday to today, a lot of news came out. A lot of stories being corroborated. You finally getting the whole picture of Cody Rhodes' feelings being hurt. Cody not liking that Tony Khan was saying he's the head booker, the writer, the CEO, and everything else, to the whole thing with the money. It really just paints the picture. And it kind of looks bad on Cody, but at the same time, I can see why it looks bad on Tony Khan. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who else you bring in. Your day ones are the ones you're always supposed to take care of. It doesn't matter. Like, WWE could bring in the top indie talent. They could call up the top stars in NXT. But at the end of the day, you know Roman's getting taken care of. You know Seth's getting taken care of. You know Brock's getting taken care of. You know Charlotte's getting taken care of. Your people who've been there, you're supposed to take care of them. So it doesn't matter. And if I'm being a little bit honest, this is kind of, like I said, this is kind of a bad look on Tony, because it's like, I can see why you were saying what you said earlier about Cody. Like, I can see why, because you didn't take care of me. And that, to me, that's kind of like a spit in the face to Cody. And I can see why it's a spit in the face. You took care of Omega. You took care of the Bucks. You brought in CM Punk. You brought in Bryan Danielson. But it was me, the Bucks, and Kenny and Jericho who got this company off the ground. So it doesn't matter who you bring in. At the end of the day, I need to be taken care of. And because another thing I heard is that Tony Khan was really listening to the fans. And there's a thing, and if Tony Khan was listening to the fans and was just like, fuck it, we don't need you, we see you as a liability, that's kind of fucked up, because the only thing bad in wrestling is indifference. If they don't make a sound, that's bad. Cody Rhodes in AEW was entering the John Cena zone. And they're going to cheer, they're going to boo. But guess what? He's getting a reaction. And that's all that matters. I hope this is what's best for him. He needs the money. Well, I'm not going to say he needs the money, but, you know, he's got a family to support. So if this is a way to secure his family's livelihood, I like it. Always take care of your family first. And to be honest, it was handled as class as it could be. So credit goes to both sides, especially after how Tony Khan handled the Big Swole situation. To see it play out like this was top level. I just wish Tony Khan would just open up that checkbook for him. Cody Rhodes is too important, especially to what WWE is going to do and how they see him. He's too important to let Vince McMahon pretty much run him into the ground, because all Vince McMahon sees is we got a co-founder of AEW wanting to come back. He doesn't really care about the career, Cody. Tony Khan cared. That's why, and you said it earlier, Cody Rhodes put people over. He put over who he needed to put over. Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, Brody Lee, God rest his soul. You know, he put over who Tony Khan wanted to build this company around, MJF. He put who he needed to put over. And you had to keep him looking dominant, so those losses mattered. Vince McMahon isn't going to care about that. Vince McMahon is going to throw him out there just because. He's too good of a storytelling wrestler to be in a company that doesn't give a shit about stories. I wish the best for him, whatever he chooses to do. I just wish Tony Khan would have opened up that checkbook to him, because he deserves it.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys, that's it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please leave a like on the video and comment what you think about today's stories. Listen to this. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's make us one of the top 10 wrestling podcasts out there. If you're not listening to us on YouTube. If you want to listen to us, you can check us out on all podcast forms. We're on Apple Music, we're on iHeartRadio, we are on Spotify, Amazon Music, you name it, we own it. You can catch everything in the world of wrestling here at the WBPTV. Everything from news, stories, breaking news, anything regarding the world of wrestling, you can catch it here on WBPTV. Once again, I'm Cody Salamander, KB the Mark.
I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.